Earlier this evening, I made a video about Lloyd Kaufman's book and DVD, Direct Your Own Damn Movie, Make Your Own Damn Movie, and a bit about Troma. And I kind of want to make a little follow-up video to that. After I made the video, I rewatched it and I was thinking about it. And what really came to mind was, what is it about Troma that's so interesting? What is it about Troma that's so appealing to me? And I think what's great about Troma is Troma really has a spirit, a real sense of authenticity. If you're going to make a Troma movie, I think for example, if you're the director and you make a film called Poultrygeist, going into this movie, you know it's not going to be a cash crop. You know it's not going to be as big a hit as Transformers or Transformers 2. It's a niche film. You know this going in, and after it's finished, you probably, looking back, you realize, yeah, okay, well, we didn't hit the jackpot with this film financially. But I think with Troma, there's something different. I think with these Troma films, there's a love which is ingrained into the process of making the film, and that really comes out through it. One of my favorite films, and anybody who's followed this channel, or the other channel I had, would know that Troll 2 is one of my favorite films of all time, hands down. And it's an awful film, but it's just such a lovable film because of the heart that went into the film. And watching the film, if you take it lightly and enjoy the ride, you realize it's a really fascinating film, and the performances are really great, even though they're pretty bad. And I think a lot of that comes through with Troma as well. I think perhaps you don't have a lot of trained actors or actresses, and it doesn't matter. People who watch the film aren't focused on that so much. It's the heart that comes out of the film. And I know this is going to sound kind of silly, but if there's a some really gruesome blood spurting scene, you know that Lloyd Kaufman is not going to just do it. You use a bloody drip. It's going to explode all over the screen. And I think that's, again, this is part of the love that comes out of the process of making a film. Is it silly? Yes. Is it kind of lowbrow? Yes. But again, these are people who love what they're doing, and they're doing it. And I think that's another part of the Troma spirit that really moves me, which is this whole idea of just do it. I think maybe James Gunn or maybe Lloyd Kaufman. Somebody in the book said, the title of the book is Make Your Own Damn Movie. It's not called Make Your Own Good Movie. The point is to make it. And I think a lot of people want to make the film, but they give up after step one. They give up after step two. They're not ready to go through with it. I think Lee Thayer said, "Many try, but few succeed." And I think that's what Troma is trying to, or Lloyd Kaufman in particular, is really trying to say. Hey, get out there, make these films. This is the real independent art. This is the real avant-garde art. Don't let Hollywood dictate what a good film should be. Go out there and make your own film. And again, make it great. Make a great film, of course, but make it. Okay, don't just plan it and then give up. Follow through. And I think what Lloyd does with these books is he provides a kind of, like I said, a guidebook, kind of helping those who don't know along the way. It's very helpful. Again, it's kind of like when you read these books, you get a sense of the kind of camaraderie that exists within the Troma universe. I mean, there's a documentary called, I think it's called All the Love You Cans, or the Cannes Film Festival. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. The title's something like that, and I did see it, and it's fascinating how the volunteers, well, on one level they're completely obnoxious, these Troma volunteers, and they go out and they cause all kinds of ruckus around the streets while the Cannes Film Festival is going on promoting Troma. But on the other hand, you realize that they're sacrificing their time to do this for Troma, to promote this company, to promote this art, to promote this kind of this vision. And And it's fascinating that there are people out there who are so willing to dedicate themselves to these films and to the kind of the Troma movement. It's great to see. I wish there were more companies like Troma, and if there are, I'm sure there are. Please tell me, drop a comment, send me a message, whatever. I'm really interested in seeing these films. Another thing about Troma, which I really admire, is something that I think Lloyd Kaufman said, where he was talking about a director who, this director said, "Oh, well, I'm such an auteur," and you know, but then the director was offered to direct a big Hollywood film, and it was just a completely kind of a heartless Hollywood, you know, action adventure Armageddon kind of epic film, really big, you know, big graphics, big special effects, all that stuff. A lot of money shelled out to the film, and probably a lot of money made by the film. But at the same time, after 6 months, after 8 months, nobody cares about that film. You know, it's just lost among a million other heartless, soulless films that are produced, you know, by the Hollywood machine. And of course, they're good Hollywood movies, but you know, in this specific example, this director, okay, so he made the movie. Nobody really cares. On the other hand, take a film like Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, you know, it's such an original film that it perseveres. It keeps coming up. I mean, year after year after year. It's probably screening somewhere right now. And it's one of these films that has substance to it. It has heart. There's something behind it. There's something ingrained in the performances, or the making of it, or just the whole way it's put together and brought to life is original. And I think a lot of people who love film can relate to that much more than they can relate to one of these big Hollywood blockbusters. And I think that's what draws people to Troma. That's one thing that might draw somebody to Troma, or get somebody interested in checking out the Troma library of films. Yeah, so I mean, that's what I wanted to say in this video. Again, just about the spirit of a company like Troma, a company that pushes for you to create. Yeah, that isn't concerned necessarily with profit. Of course, you know, money's always a factor in the film world, but again, there's a heart. There's a heart that goes into it. Watch The Toxic Avenger. Watch it really carefully. It's a beautifully made film, and it's a classic. A little schlocky, but again, heart. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.